to all of you. This commentary I'm bringing to you is out of Houston, Texas. Thank you for joining me.
Just in breaking news, Houston police say a man who torched people's home, then waited for them to come out so he could shoot them, was recently notified that he was being evicted.
3 people were killed before police shot and killed the suspect. People living in rooms on Dunlap near Holly in Southwest Houston started calling 911 just after 1 this morning. ABC 13 reporter Rosie Wynn is there to tell us about how it all played out. Rosie?
Erica and Micah, we spoke to the landlord of this multi-unit rental complex who respectfully asked to speak to us off camera. He estimates that there are about 10 units in this complex that are now completely uninhabitable. He says he spoke to the suspect who was allegedly behind this just yesterday. The tenant had lived here since 2013, but the landlord says he didn't pay rent and got evicted. HPD believes this may have been a retaliatory effort that was unleashed on his neighbors. Dispatch received multiple calls about a fire and a person down shortly after 1 o'clock this morning near the intersection of Holly and Dunlap. Investigators say the suspect shot at firefighters, forcing them to take cover, and it wasn't until an HPD officer arrived a short time later and confronted the shooter. They confirmed that the suspect died and tell us he was a black man in his 40s. Here's what Chief Troy Finner had to say about the incident earlier this morning.
This is just sad what's going on in our nation. And I always ask for prayer. I'm asking for prayer right now. All of these families, can you imagine that some of them probably hadn't been notified just of yet? It's occurring at 1 o'clock in the morning, but please pray.
He says 3 additional people are dead, including 2 white men in their 60s and a black man in his 40s who died at the hospital. We're told there are 2 additional victims with injuries who survived. Investigators believe they were all residents living in the area. The landlord also tells us that one of the people killed this morning was his property manager who lived and worked here for 33 years. So a very heavy loss for the landlord and everyone who knew him in the neighborhood. The landlord is also looking for his dog who ran off from the fire scene this morning. His name is Duke and he's a German Shepherd. If you see him in the area, let us know. We would love to facilitate a reunion with the landlord who has been through so much, as well as the people in the area. Reporting live from Southwest Houston, Rosie Wynn, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
All right, everybody, that's the said commentary coming out of Houston, Texas. I will now read you the said commentary pertaining to this very devastating situation. Thank you all so much for joining me. Oh, mercy. ABC 13 is the source. HFD crews responding to fire shot at by a gunman who smoked out 3 people and shot them dead, HPD says. It's very tricky commentary here. A gunman was shot and killed by a Houston police officer after allegedly setting a fire to lure neighbors outside, killing 3 people in Southwest Houston on Sunday morning, according to investigators. At about 1 a.m., officials responded to a fire and a person down at 8020 Dunlap Street. As the Houston Fire Department arrived at the scene, firefighters said the suspect began shooting, leading them to take cover. According to authorities, when Houston Police Department officers arrived a short time later, an officer spotted the suspect and opened fire. HPD confirmed that the suspect died. Jumping off here. Hold on one second. This happens every time I do this. Okay. I don't know what's this going on. Once again, they responded to a fire, person down at 8020 Dunlap Street. Suspect began shooting, leading them to take cover. According to authorities, when Houston Police Department officers arrived a short time later, an officer spotted the suspect, opened fire. It is confirmed that the suspect died and described him as a black man in his 40s. Investigators said they believe the suspect set fire to prompt neighbors to come out of their homes and shoot at them. Chief Troy Fenner said he believes the suspect may have been a disgruntled tenant who was getting evicted and took retaliatory action against other people living in the neighborhood. Our officer arrived and took action, and for that, I'm very proud of him. He's a 7-year veteran out of the South Gessner Division, and again, as usual, per policy, he'll be put on administrative leave, Fenner said. Fenner said 3 victims were taken to the hospital where they were pronounced dead. ABC 13 spoke to the landlord of the multi-unit rental complex, who respectfully asked to only speak off camera. According to the landlord, one of the victims was the property manager of the rental complex for 33 years. The property manager's German Shepherd, Duke, ran away amid all the commotion, the landlord said. The investigators told Eyewitness News at the scene that 2 additional victims with injuries survived. Detectives believe the victims are all residents living in the area. It's shocking. I just thought it was a house fire. Now I find out about all, excuse me, I don't know why this thing keeps jumping off. The devil don't want me to read the article. All residents living in the area, excuse me. I don't know what's going on. Okay, as I said, 2 additional victims with injuries survived. All residents, the detectives believe that the victims are all residents living in the area. As I just said, it's shocking. I just thought it was a house fire. Now I find out about all this and I go, wow, I couldn't believe all this shooting and bodies laying around. I just thought the bodies were laying around out here from smoke inhalation. I was trying to drag this guy over and the other guy over, neighbor Troy Lamb said. The American Red Cross arrived to provide some relief and resources for the neighbors who were impacted. The landlord estimates there are 10 units that are completely uninhabitable. According to the landlord, the suspect lived there since 2013 but didn't pay rent. The landlord said the suspect got evicted and turned in his keys on Saturday. It's really crazy. It's brutal murder. I mean, the guy lost his head. I don't know. We'll work through it one way or the other, little by little. Each individual. Some of the guys that live over here, they're going to have to find another place to live, Lamb said. Police said they recovered 1 shotgun and are working to find the cause of the fire, but it looks like it was arson. The identities of the victims are being withheld until families are notified. Thank you all so much for your patience. ABC 13 is the source for this information. Please refer to the beginning of this video to hear the chief's commentary on this said individual. So it is believed that a black man in his 40s is the suspect who is now dead. He was shot by a police officer, 7-year veteran. Obviously, he set the apartment ablaze as in retaliation for being evicted. Don't know how long he was staying in the apartment without paying rent. Why was he not paying rent? But anyway, he lured these people out intentionally, shot them as they were running out, stayed on the scene. Firefighters show up shooting at them as well. So then backup is called with just the authorities and an officer shot him dead, a black man. Elderly people were the victims. 3 are now dead that he shot, later died at the hospital, and 2 surviving victims. When you look at the picture of the said place where this fire took place, it looks like what I would deem like a walk-up hotel style apartment complex where you have the air conditioning underneath the window and then beside it a door. About I don't know the total of apartments it housed, but it said 10 are uninhabitable. So I do not know the total amount of apartments that this structure held, but 10 units are said to be non-livable. Hopefully these people will be able to go on and find other housing, those who are left behind. There's also a missing dog, a German Shepherd that belonged to a manager who is one of the victims that died, who lived there for 33 years. I don't know if he managed the place for 33 years, but they said he lived there for 33 years on the property and was the manager. What were the issues with this black man? How long had he been facing eviction? Is it an issue of the COVID? Did he lose his work? Did he get behind on his rent? Did he have any type of substance abuse problems? Who all lived there with him? What made him decide to set this place on fire? What made him think he was going to get away with this? Why did he stay on the scene afterwards? How about just set the place on fire, walk on out? I mean, you're already doing wrong by setting it on fire, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying it was right what he did. But what I'm saying is, hell, did he want to get caught? Because to set it on fire, walk out, stand out and wait for people to run out, shoot them, and then still continue to stand there and kill person for person for person. So that means at least he shot 5, because 3 are dead and 2 are survived. So you stood there and watched these people run out deliberately set the place on fire, deliberately stood outside, deliberately lied in wait with a gun and shot these people to their death. And yes, this is going to be a very tragic event for those who have to bury these people, because now somebody has to bury 3 people, 3 separate individuals, elderly persons, 2, I believe, 60s, male victims. Naturally, they have family, someone now has to bury these people. But let's talk about the suspect. What was he going through? Did he date anybody? Was he married? Did he have children? Did he have any pets? What was his problem? How long had he been living in the apartment without paying rent? As I said, was COVID an issue for him not paying rent? As you know, many places now are allowing evictions to stand, because landlords can no longer continue to have people live on their properties and not pay rent. And I think a lot of people have not been, what is the word I'm looking for? Have not sympathized with also the people who own properties. Okay? There are many single owners of homes, units, duplexes, and they were put in a financial bind, especially if they did not fully own the property. They were paying a mortgage on the property, houses. So that means they owed a note. And without you paying rent, puts them behind on their note. So imagine having 10 units, 20 units, however many, and nobody's paying rent. Maybe 4 or 5 are not paying rent out of 10, 15. Now you're stuck with footing a mortgage on that said property. But people didn't think of it. People only were concerned about the people who couldn't pay their rent. And it was a travesty to be out of work and not be able to pay your rent, pay your bills. But no one really considered the landlord, owner, as a victim as well. Now this person has a burned out property. Naturally, he or she will have insurance. Possibly won't want to rebuild. So they, in the end, will be the lucky one if they have insurance, because they can recoup the money from this building being set afire by this man. Who is this man? What was he going through? What was he thinking? Why did he take his personal problems out on the neighbors? Okay, you're angry that you're being evicted for whatever reason, be it on your own circumstance or non-circumstance to your doing. But why take it out on these innocent people? They've done nothing wrong to you, allegedly. I do not know. But in the end, even if you had a personal beef with 1 or 2 or 3 or however many, why make them suffer? Do you know how cruel that is to lie in your house? The building is filling up with smoke. You're looking around wondering what the hell is burning. You realize it's the structure that you're living in, perhaps maybe not your apartment, but the structure itself. You run out to only be gunned down by a gunman. That's a hell of a way to go. That's a hell of a way to go. Scrambling around in the dark, if these people were actually asleep, looking for your shoes, looking for your keys, looking for anything valuable, because many people will do that. Look for something to take with them, and then run out of your apartment and be shot to death deliberately. That's cold. This man was cold-blooded because he did not care about his neighbors, the community, the owner. The manager lived on the property, which was a tenant. He didn't care about any of those people. And he made those people suffer for whatever the hell was going on in his personal life, which led him not to be able to pay rent. And as I said, I do not have all the details. If he just stopped paying rent or how long it was, or if it has anything to do with the COVID, I do not know. No information in this article revealed any type of reasoning. But as you heard in this commentary, the owner is shocked that now his tenants are displaced, deceased, and there's a missing dog belonging to the property manager. What a mess. Want to get more information pertaining to the victims, who they are, the situation, the scenario that led this man to kill these people? I will bring you the said information. This is a very brief live. I just wanted to bring you all that update because when I saw it in my notifications, I felt impelled to bring it because I felt like this is a really bad story. And Houston has a lot of crime, like so many other cities in the United States, and they are riddled with drama day for day. And to have this happen early Sunday morning, hours before people are getting up to go to church service and give thanks to God, assemble with their friends and family in the community, these people were running out of their beds to their own deaths. Of course, there's no perfect day to die violently, but on a Sunday, of all days to kill people, the Lord says this is the day of rest. But there was no rest early Sunday morning in this apartment complex. Somebody had the devil in them. Their spirit was broken. Mayhem was on their mind. And they set ablaze, this man set ablaze this apartment complex, small place, lied in wait for the neighbors to run out. And he shot them, where they later died in the hospital. Prayers to the family, condolences. Prayers for Houston, Texas, who has been riddled with crime. There are really no words. Because when I saw the article and read it, I was kind of stunned. Like, wow, you're just going to set the place on fire and you didn't even just leave. Okay, you're mad at the world, you're mad at the property manager, you're mad at the owner. You're going to just set the place on fire and then have the audacity to stand around and watch your handiwork. Oh, yes, because they have said that about arsonists. They will stand somewhere in eye view of their handiwork. Interesting. This man did the same. But instead of him just watching his dirty deed, he waited for people to run out to shoot them to death. There are no words to describe that. None. I want to thank you all for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, Everyday Shenanigans, $Big Angie, 129 Cash App. Thank you for your time. Have a prosperous week. If you see something, say something. Mind the children. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. Pray for our nation because right now we're in turmoil with so many things, so many tainted spirits, evildoers, people who are just not right, people who have no empathy, people who do not care about others. And every day you're going to see people who just don't give a damn. There are days when many of us are going to become frustrated, angry, bitter, mad. But when you decide to exact an execution of another human being, you have lost your way thoroughly. You are at the point of no return. There's no counseling needed once you've gunned down a human being. You're going to have to take up your counseling with God because you're out of control. You're gone. Perhaps this man should have sought out help to somebody, a pastor, church, for help. Found a way to get another place to live. Killing these people was not the answer. Setting the apartment ablaze was not the answer. Could have been children in there that could have died, been injured. But he didn't care who was in there. You all have a wonderful week. God bless all of you. I will talk to you guys a little bit later. Please be safe. And this is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you so much for your time.